Hello, everybody. Reggie Time here, and in a moment we're going to look through, I think, 10 or 11 hands I played on the 25NL Snap Streets yesterday. We're going to review the hands in the replay first, but I'm going to give my thoughts on what I did and why I did it, and then we're going to check them against what theory wanted us to do and see how close we're getting. And if we're not getting close, see if we can justify why we weren't close to theory. And sometimes we're going to be like, okay, I'm happy with what I did. Sometimes we're like, actually, I'm not happy with what I did, and it's way out of line with theory, and hopefully we'll learn something. I set out my goals for November in the end of yesterday's video, but one of those goals is to do plenty of study. I want to do at least 160 hours of poker work this month, be that study, be that play, be that chatting with other people. Basically, full-time poker player, part-time um, personal assistant. That's my job. Um, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting right stuck into the month, playing whatever the hell I want to play, playing whatever the hell limits I want to play, and just working on becoming a better and better player and just letting results take care of themselves. Please hit the like button. Please share. Please subscribe. Please comment. All of those things that some of you sometimes do. Hit the little bell notification, please, if you haven't already done that, so you get email alerts. And then when you get the email, just give it a quick click, give it a quick like, and move on with your day. If you don't want to watch it, that'd be magnificent. Right, end of ramble. Let's get on with the show. We're going to open the King 7 suited here, blind versus blind, which is something I'm very keen to work on this month. My blind versus blind play is not good. Fortunately, nobody else's is too, so I'm not losing huge amounts reciprocally to the field, if losing at all. But it's still an area where I can make significant improvements and significant gains, I would imagine. So we open the King 7 offsuit. Big blind calls, as they inconveniently often do when we've got a pretty mediocre hand. And we flop ourselves a second pair. I think this is a crystal clear check. We could be like, well, it's a ball we should range bet. You know, it's Ace King 3. It significantly favours our range, etc. So I think this probably is like globally quite a high frequency range bet, but our exact hand doesn't really benefit much from betting. So I'm not going to do it. But we'll see if I see how close to correct I am there. Villain checks back. Turn deuce, complete brick. But villain checks back the flop. So could we start value betting a king now? Is he going to check back some weak ace X for pot control? Don't know. Can we start value betting a king? I don't think so. I checked. Villain now bets half pot. We have a trivially easy call. Villain can be bluffing. Villain can be value betting a worse hand. Villain can be betting some picked up equity either with a straight draw or a flush draw, etc. Nothing to do here other than call. And we river two pairs. The question is, do we lead or do we check and allow him to bet again? Question is, if we check, is our hand strong enough to check raise? That's the first question we need to ask. I'm not sure it is. Villain can definitely have some better two pairs in range. He can definitely have a straight with the 4-5. He can have some sets, set of deuces, for example, check back flop and bet turn. So I don't think we get to check raise his hand. So if we can't check raise it, do we just lead it? Because villains typically, or opponents in these pools typically don't value bet super thinly, and they don't bluff at a high enough frequency. So I think we're torn between check raise and lead. Don't think check call makes a whole bunch of sense. Check raise I think is probably a little bit too, our hand's too weak. So I think I probably like lead here, and I'd be surprised if I don't lead. I think size wise, 2/3 pot, 75% pot, something in that region. And surprise, surprise, I don't do that. I check. I think this is a mistake from me. I think we can have some leads on this river, but we'll soon find out. Villain now bets 3/4 pot. I think we can only call, raising too thin. We can only call this, but I think I probably should have led river. And villain had ace 10. So I think either way, whichever line we take down the river, we get. If we bet that size, he's going to call with that hand. When we check, he fortunately bet the hand and we got to beat it. yeah, I don't think I'm going to do badly on this hand. I don't think I'm going to get any inaccuracies or red circles, but I think we could have played the river better for certain. So as suspected, we get the one tick, which I thought is where we'd come out of this. And pre-flop, it limps sometimes, and sometimes it even folds. In fact, raise is the lowest frequency option. So who knew I was raising two wide blind versus blind? I certainly fucking didn't. I didn't know that. But yeah, it's a low frequency open apparently. Flop, as we thought, easy check. We're getting two ticks for this. Turn, easy check. 2 ticks, getting 2 ticks for the call. And it's just pure checking river. So river's only one tick. I guess it wants to check raise here. See, it feels too thin for me. So we check. It bets. It's actually wanting us to raise 3x or thereabouts. Or yeah, it's just wanting us to raise here. Let's have a little look what villain's meant to be bet calling here on the river, and see if I think in my pool that's what we're seeing. So we'll put the 75% in. We are supposed to check raise to this size. And what is villain's calling range? Villain's folding 60%. We are getting jammed on sometimes, which is easy fold. Getting 3-bet easy fold. Their calling range. They're just calling a lot of ace-x. Fair enough. Fair dues. I'll take that one on the chin. I got my analysis wrong. I thought river wouldn't be a check raise. I mean, where's 4-5 at here? Why is 5-4 suited not in villain's range? I don't understand. So we go back to turn here, big blind. 5-4 suited. It's betting. So why is it not in range when it comes to? So you can't see that's just off the screen, but it's betting 72.5% of the time. So why when we raise? It's not in his calling range. It's fuck off, Red, you thick cunt. It's in his jamming range. Shut up, Red. Shut up. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, stop laughing at the back. That would fucking stupid from me. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. We move along, and we have learned something there that we can check raise that spot. It felt too thin to me. I still think I don't know. I'm not allowed to think that. I'm here to learn. I thought it was too thin. It isn't too thin. Shut up, Reg. Take your learning and move along. We open King Jack suited here. Get called by a orange tagged regular on the button. We flop ourselves 3 of a kind. There's going to be a little bit of checking here. Some betting. I think I wouldn't be surprised if I see like a mix of sides. This isn't me sitting on the fence. I wouldn't be surprised to see this mixed check, small bet, and like I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 1/3, half, and 75% bets here and some checking. I went with 1/3. Villain called. Turn 6. I think we just bet again. Sizing wise, I think out of position, 75%, and in position we'd probably overbet, but maybe out of position we just go 75. I went with overbet. Don't think I love this. I think this is too big, maybe. I think when we're out of position, we don't do as much overbetting out of position. I think could be wrong there. This could be an overbet. Villain folds. Yeah, that's why I tagged this hand, because after I made this overbet, I was thinking, is that just too strong? Is that bet too big? I think betting's exactly the right line. I think there'll be a little bit of check maybe, but mostly betting. But I think maybe our size was a bit off there. So yeah, we have an inaccuracy, and it is on the turn. So as I suspected. So flop we played fine. That's exactly what I said. Just give some check, some small bet, some bigger bets. I was wrong on the 75%, but I was right that there was like quite a bit of mix in between these three at least. So happy with myself for that. Turn, he actually wants half pot as his preferred size, but nearly 60% of the time it wants half pot and bigger. Just a little bit of check, yeah. As I thought, a little bit of small bet. Again, yeah, I'm happy with my analysis of this. And at the time, to be honest, I was toying between 75% and overbet. And because the second flush draw came, I decided to go with overbet, thinking that they maybe have some backdoor flush draws that also have to call as well as the front door flush draws, some queen X, etc. Yeah, it makes more sense. And this is something I've been learning since I've started doing more turn over betting. It seems to much prefer the over bets when we're in position rather than out of position, um, which is kind of what I thought anyway. But it's interesting to get that confirmed. It's nice to get that confirmed because what we're trying to do here is just like loads of common spots. Just get our standard lines from flop to river pretty accurate, and then river probably where we're going to make our wildest deviations. But until then, pre-flop, flop, turn, try and just have decent standard lines um, for as many situations as we can that we can just churn out time and again and be reliable with, and then do most of our exploiting on the river. I think that's how I want to approach the game. And even though we didn't get this one right, the fact that I at least considered small bet or smaller bet is pleasing to me. I'm happy with that. Um, so on to the next hand. We have an ace and a jack, different colours. Open small blind. Called by another orange tag reg in the big. We flop. Not a lot. Good shot. 2 overs. Backdoor flush draw. I think I check these situations too much. I think there will be some betting here with our equity. I think I check these way too often. Maybe with the backdoor hearts, we just get to see bet here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to check, but in hindsight, I think I prefer 1/3. I think checking's completely fine, but I think with our exact hand, I prefer 1/3. I do check this time. Milan checks back. Turn, we turn a straight. Um, Again, I think betting probably the favoured option here. We just got a straight, haven't we? I think favoured option is going to be bet. What size? Don't really know. 1/3, half, something like that, maybe. I check again. Sadly, River puts a straight on the board. I check again. Villain now. Oh, I remember this one. I'm about to do something quite punchy. Villain overbet here, which I'm like, right, okay. Maybe he's like got a 7. Maybe. Um, maybe he's just trying to bet us off a chop. I have this card here, the nut flush blocker. I'm gonna get told off for this. I think you're gonna get bad at all because I elected to raise here. I was like, nah, like, you can't overbet here on this board with. Maybe you probably overbet a flush, I guess. But I mean, how many flushes does he have that just waits till the river? I don't know. I'm not trying to justify this. This is a punt. I'm just interested in exactly how bad of a punt it is. Is this just bad? Is it really bad? Or am I going to get lucky and get a tap on the wrist, but not absolutely atrocious, Reg? I think it can't be atrocious because we have the Ace of Hearts. I don't think it can be atrocious. But yeah, we haven't played this one well. We have not covered ourselves with glory in this hand. Oops, we have a red circle, which isn't as bad as a red triangle, but it's not ideal. So we open, of course. Right, we're 2 checks all the way, so we just get to the river. No, we won't. No, don't rush it, Reg. Stop it. Stop it. How often can we bet this flop? Checking 90%. Don't rush, Reg. There's no rush. So we're not betting this flop very often at all. And I guess as a checking flop, we're checking this close to. No, actually, doing a little bit of betting now. A tiny bit more betting. Of course, we are return the straight. But still doing a lot of checking. And river, check. When we should be doing a little bit more betting still. We go with a check. Go on over bets. Oh, there is some raising. We just chose the wrong size. There is some raising. So I'm happy about that. But we just got the size wrong. So okay. I thought that was like a monumental punt, and it just theoretically it's a thing. Just our size was off. So I guess I'll take that. That wasn't as bad as I thought. Not good still, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. And it only loses a tiny bit of EV compared to just folding. So yeah, I'll take that. Because there's some future game in this as well, isn't there? When people see you capable of check raising with this hand. Some future game in there for like we can hopefully get some action when we have stronger holdings from a player that sees us do this. Oh, for the record, just to finish this hand off, of course, Phil and Calden, of course, they had a 7. And they did have the King of Hearts 2. Not that that's a particularly relevant blocker, I don't think. On to the next one. We open 2 tens. We get a 3 bet from a blue tag player. We 4 bet because this guy was being particularly active. He was an Irish player and he was being a bit of a donkey, to be honest. He calls. We flop an over pair. I think pure betting here. I think mixing between 25% and 50% pot. Against this player, I'm always going to use the larger size. He goes all in. I think we have a trivially easy call against this player type. And the board runs out safe, and he had the ace king. So I'm happy with that one. And I'm pretty sure solver will be too. We've only got 1 tick. And that's for flop. So I guess we chose the wrong size on the flop. To pre-flop, it's preferring 4 bet in this situation, which I wouldn't typically do. This was villain specific. I wouldn't usually 4 bet this hand versus a more normal player. And then flop, it wanted 25%. I was mixing between 25% and 50%. And it's basically mixing between check and 50%. So, yeah, didn't think there'd be too much. I suppose we got that much like ace, king, etc. in our range. If we do check, I guess we're check raising. But we'll check that. We'll study that in a moment. I did go with that. He went all in. We call, yes, that's fine. So if we do check, are we check raising? So we do say we check this flop instead. So hijack check. Villain's favoured bet size is going to be 25%. So we'll bang the 25% in. And tens are just calling. Wow. So what's Villain's 25% betting range look like? Reg. Look at the right fucking thing, mate. So his betting range for this is aces at slow playing, all these flush draws, probably backdoor flush draws too. No, mainly just front door flush draws. Jacks, which is better than those. Queens, which is better than those. The thing I'm thinking about here is how many of our opponents turn up with hands like 5-4 suited here and 6-5 suited. Not many. Sixes, yeah, for sure. But then do they bet this flop? Probably not. But maybe. No, actually, maybe they do. Yeah, that's probably not fair. That's being maybe lazy again. There are a lot of these probably do stab, putting us on 2 high cards that have completely bricked. Okay, check call it is. See, I'd be in a rush to just get the money in here, and I think again this against this specific villain, I think that's fine given how aggressive he is. He's just going to. This is Hans a prime example. If he's bet calling it off with Ace King here, he's sure as shit bet calling it off with better hands than Ace King that are worse than tens. So against this villain, I'm happy with my line, but more typically speaking, I'm less happy. So if we now go back to one more thing, I want to check. If we change our hand from pocket tens to, say, pocket kings or pocket aces, how does our strategy change? Do we got kings and aces on this flop? Still only betting 25%. Aces, they're betting 43% of the time. Probably because that'll be because aces probably perform. It's quite a large amount of in position flatting range pre versus the 4-bet, which is why kings can't bet as often as aces can. But we're rarely getting to half pot. That's what we're really getting to. That's what we're seeing here. Like, what is our? Well, we don't. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, our exact time went to bet this, but half pot is So I was right in terms of globally, we're mixing between 25% and 50%, which is what I said at the start. But tens doesn't want to, but aces do a bit, kings do a bit. I know. Hang on. To get that quarter pot out. So kings are going to be suit dependent by the look of it. I'm confused. Sorry, this isn't making for great content, but so 25% kings not a lot. 50% kings quite a lot. So basically, yeah, the bigger you overpair, the more you're using 50%, but all of a sudden aces isn't using 50. I'm getting really confused here. Aces, what is aces actual fucking preferred size? Is it this one? 43% of the time it's betting 25%. Sorry, this is taking a long time. And 28%. So aces actually prefers smaller. Yeah, and that's because, yeah. Is it because? It just needs less protection, doesn't it? Just needs less protection, I think. And also probably because it blocks some nut flush draws. Obviously, when we got the ace of hearts, we're blocking nut flush draws. When we got the ace of diamonds, we're blocking backdoor nut flush draws. Yeah, sorry about this one, guys. It's took me a long time to figure that one out, and I'm still not convinced that I have, to be honest. But we don't need to. I don't need to know the intricacies of how much specific suits. I think I was trying to get too deep into that there. Yeah, not sure. There's been that much use reviewing that one. So here we are. This is same villain again from the last hand. He opens 4x. We have King Jack off suit, just calling. Flop and open in straight draw. He bets quite big. I think we can mix between call and raise here, given his C bet frequency. Flop. Fold to raise after C bet. 2 from 2. Not really much of a sample size. We had to call this time. Turn 7. He now downsizes. I think versus most players, just calling here, just taking the really good pot odds we're getting. I think versus this player who's really aggressive, maybe raise. Because it's got a lot of like weak hands. His better edge, you see, but it's 94%. His barrels turned 83%. He's got a lot of shit in his range. He's downsized. So I can make a case for raising here, but I think calling is probably still better. So we do raise. Ambulance folds. I think call's going to be the preferred option on that turn. So we only have the one take, and that will be because of the turn, I would imagine, preferring call. But again, theory doesn't understand the player we're up against. He doesn't understand that he's like way overdoing it. If we could node lock this for like 88% turn barrel, maybe there's more raise. I don't know. I actually don't know. But yeah, we didn't get a blunder there, and I'm happy with like knowing it's a call, but raising versus this particular villain due to his frequencies and his downsizing. Two things which encourage me to raise and that I wouldn't normally do. So yeah, I'm not too fussed about this one only getting one tick because I had a, in my opinion, a justifiable reason. Next hand is King. We're going to 3-bet, of course. Villain calls. Deuce 5-4 two-tone. We don't have any of the suits. So I think without any of the suits here, we just check. We don't like. If we had a club or something, we maybe like we blocking some of his calls. Without a suit, I think I'm probably just checking. Turn king, check. I think we have some bets now, but probably not big on the flush card. Don't think we can go bigger than 75% here, and I think probably prefer smaller. I do go with 2/3, and villain just folds. So that, for me, I think we played that fine until the turn, and it's just a line check on our sizing. Again, just one tick, which will mean our turn size wasn't the optimal one. Flop, check, checking 76% of the time. Happy with that, that's close to pure as far as I'm concerned. Turn. It wants more checks, actually wants to continue checking. I mean, it does just want small. What do I think about that? Well, obviously, I'm not going to dispute theory. If theory wants to check here 60%, I'm not disputing that for nanosecond. But in the games we play, do we want to have a slightly higher bet frequency? Because we think people are a bit more stationary. Because we're not as likely to get check raised. I imagine if we node lock this for villain having very few check raises, I imagine it would find more bets. So when it does bet here on the turn rather than checking, what's villain meant to check raise? Meant to check raise 9% of the time here. When we go 1/3, it's meant to check raise 11% of the time. Do I think population are finding these raises? So it's going to like call a lot, but when it raises, so do I think villain is finding these raises? King 9. Nope. I don't think it's finding that. It's finding all the flushes, of course. Down here we have pocket 3s. Check raising. Nope. That's not happening. Ace 5 suited. Yes, of course. Ace 4 suited. No, I don't think so. Pocket 10s, pocket 9s, pocket 8s, pocket 7s, pocket 6s, all doing a little bit. So I think because we're not getting raised as frequently, I'm happy to tilt this more towards like betting than checking. At the minute, it's like 60% check, 40% bet. But not this size. I think like I'd prefer against population here to tilt this to maybe 40% check, 60% bet, mostly using this 1/3 size. I think that'd be a nice adjustment rather than checking 60% because I just don't think we're getting raised as frequently. So we're not getting raised as frequently. We could just bet with that bit more confidence. Ace deuce suited. We raise small blind. Called. Flop ourselves a flush draw. Think better check here, both fine. Probably leaning more towards checking. This is what we do. Villain bets pretty big, 2/3 pot. He's got a shit stack size. I think I remember this hand. I think I raised. Just trying to figure out if I like it versus this bet size. I don't think I do. I don't think I like raise versus this bet. Versus smaller, I would like it. Versus this size, I don't like it. I did it anyway. And he folded. So again, I think we're going to be getting a tick for that, but we ain't getting 2 ticks. In fact, before I actually analyse this, I'm not even sure we're going to get 1 tick. I think because he's bet big, I think maybe we made a wrong move on the turn. All right, well, okay. His stack size makes it inaccurate, but we didn't. We ended up getting a tick, so that's okay. I just want to call league all the time though. So yeah, okay. And I knew I raised that knowing it was a mistake, but I did it anyway. Maybe because it was just to do with his stack depth. But I knew when I was doing this, it's just call reg, and I didn't want to deal with just call and then brick and face a turn barrel. So I let my emotions get the better of me to force me to make a lower EV play or a lower frequency play. Yeah, because I know like I'm going to be doing this way more frequently than this 13% of the time versus this player type. In the games I played normally, you get loads of these like shorter stack players, and they use large bet sizes quite often when they're betting. And I know I do this way too frequently, but it's because I don't want to check call, then see the I don't know, whatever, the fucking jack of clubs come off. We check again, they bet big again, and I'm like, right, okay, now what? So I raise now to avoid irritating spots further down the street, and that's shit. When I do that, this is what when I used to coach players, and when I still do a little bit of it now, I tell them off for making suboptimal plays on earlier streets to avoid tougher decisions, and I've done that here. And part of my goals this month are to hold myself to like higher standards, to hold myself to account more. This is shit. This is a mental game league. This isn't me not knowing. This is me knowingly taking a line that isn't optimal, that isn't the 2 tick option. I knowingly take a 1 tick option because I just want to get it in now. Fine, fold or get it in, mate. One or the other. That was my attitude. I know that I wouldn't do this 100 bigs deep. At least that's something. So maybe at this stack depth, this is just a bit better because we give less of a fuck. Actually, put this in for 50 bigs if we can. See if it changes anything at all. So we change this to starting at 50 bigs. Does it change anything? So we check Small blind still bets that size. So 50 bigs, do we do anything different? Ace deuce suited. Nope. We fold more for a start. Oh no, shut up, Reg. Shut up, shut up, shut up. You can't see it, it's off the screen. Which is unfortunate, so it's shit for the video, but it's good for me learning. We just call 86%, 50 big depth. What was it saying we did at this depth? We call, yes, it's the same. Stack depth doesn't change anything, or change it very little. On to the next one. King 4 suited. Open. Big blind calls. Flop ourselves a flush. Check. I think some checking back here. Flushes are flush boards are very good for buttons for big blinds flatting ranges. So even though we've got a strong flush, there's going to be some check here, and then probably some small betting. I do go with small bet. Villain calls. Turn pairs the board. Villain checks again. I don't think this is a spot where we get to size up, just because again, villain just has a lot of flushes in range. And our entire range, our range doesn't want to. We're not going to have flushes very often. We're going to have some full houses though. What size? Or is there ever any checks? There's going to be some checking for certain, I think. But then when we do bet, I think probably half potish maybe. I go for check this time. Bad river. Villain now leads. Do we have any raises? I think we have to have some raises. Like raise folds, raise to something like 12 or 13 here. I just called. That's bad, Reg. I think raise fold, raise. I think raise that river to like 12 or 13 blinds, and then fold to a 3-bet is a far superior line. This is not good for me. This is not good. Bill had a straight. He would absolutely would have called more. That's not the point though. The point is that is not. I was kind of thinking, well, we ace high flush. He can have full houses. Shut up, Reg. I think that river's a raise. It's a raise fold. So we've got one tick, but it's a spot where we should just keep getting 2 ticks. It should be an easy hand to play. So this is annoying. The only time we didn't get the tick is pre-flop. Excuse me. It's folding 78%. I thought King X was opening lots before the flop. Okay. So actually, we got the one. The river was fine. I thought it should have been a raise. How often are we raising river? We got the highest EV option. Right, don't rush it, Rich. Stop it. Flop. 70%. There is a little bit of 50% too, but we're getting 70%. Bet 1/3. Happy with that. Turn. I thought there'd be quite a bit of checking. And then I thought there'd be some half pot. So I nailed the turn. In terms of like mostly checking, but some half pot betting. River, I was thinking raise now, and it just doesn't want it. Raising is a blunder. Probably because it just like rarely gets called by worse, maybe. And we open ourselves up to a 3-bet. Okay, so I actually played that hand really well, and I slagged myself off for it. So again, we're learning. That's why we're doing this stuff. Because I was very irritated reviewing this, thinking we should have a raise fold on the river, and raise folding would just be a monumental blunder. Lose quite a lot of EV raising. So yeah, my inner nit made me play the hand correctly. Is 6 suited. Opening. A call from this Irish guy again. Flop ourselves a flush draw. He donks big. Against this guy, he's donking 80%. He's donked 8 times out of 10. I think we raise our call. This guy's just too damn aggressive. We just have good equity. I think raise our call. I think because Sober's not going to like any of this. I don't think because don't think this donk's meant to be a thing really from villain. If it is, I don't think it's meant to be this size. So we might have a non-existent spot here. But we'll run it through anyway. We did go with call. Turn was a king. Villain checks. Villain hasn't folded to a single turn bet yet. Not from 3. I mean, there was a chance we have the best hand here. We don't need to bet. And then river deuce. Villain bets half pot. I think we just have to call here against this opponent. Yeah, we don't want to have hearts, but there's still other like the straight draws you can have. That's just all sorts of random air. I'm going to fold here, and now I am, and I think this is bad. I think versus this villain, this is just a call. Yeah, we're going to lose to some random shit that he's got, but we're also going to beat a lot of random shit. You know that everything's really missed from the flop onwards. This is bad for me. I don't care what Solver says here because it might be non-existent, but I think against this villain, that is just never, ever a fold. That's really bad. Not happy with that. Okay then, so we get 2 ticks. So river just is a fold, but again, villain dependent. So pre-flop, he donks this size. There is some raise. I imagine if we node like this for villain donking 80%, I think these numbers will come closer together, but still probably favouring call. Turn. Check. Happy with that. River. To calling here loses some EV. But against this guy, maybe it doesn't. But if Solver's like, nah, a fold, then I'm happy with my fold. Even though against this guy, I think this number gets pulled up a little bit versus this guy. He's just got more bluffs in range than a Solver would here, I would imagine. This is just so aggressive. So he's actually going to be way over bluffing here, in my opinion. So he's way over bluffing. This number's going to pull up. Is it going to pull up to be better than folding? I don't know. But I think probably calling there against that villain will be completely fine. So this is going to be the last hand of the video. King, Queen of Spades. We open. We get 3 bet by an untagged opponent, who we can now tag to being orange. Here, I think with King, Queen suited, I think I'm personally just pure calling. Maybe the occasional bit of 4 bet if I think someone's out of line. We do call. Flop ourselves and nut flush draw. We check. Villain range, well, what looks like a range bet. Yeah, I think both options on the table here. Raise or call. I don't think villain has pocket 5s or pocket 3s in range. He does have jacks, queens, kings, aces, etc. But we have like flush draw, 2 overcards, which may or may not be good. I don't really like counting my overcards in this spot. And we have some like backdoor straight potential. And maybe our overcards are good, but I wouldn't count all of them. I can get on board with either here, raise or fold, raise or call. Probably prefer raising with the nut flush draw. For blocking some pocket aces too. We did go with raise though. Villain calls. Turn. Complete brick. I think after check raise flop, we have to follow through on this turn for like 3/4 pot maybe. I go with less than 3/4 pot. I go with like whatever the fuck that is. Half, just over. Villain calls again. We river the flush and we're all in. Villain calls. He rivered a set. I think his flop. Well, pre-flop. Let's just analyze this. This is what I think. Like, I don't want to put this. This is a shit 3 bet. That's how I want to put it. I don't give a fuck. This is going to be in there sometimes. Let's have a little look on my other page here. So we're middle position. I often button 3 bet in pocket 4s. How about fucking never? So this is a shit 3 bet. C bet is whatever. Calling the check raise, atrocious. Calling the turn barrel, he picks up the good shot. In my opinion, still atrocious. And then river, I guess he has to call because his hand's improved. But yeah, and we're not here to analyze villains play, but have a day off, mate. Before we analyze this, I think if we're not two ticks all the way, it's because it prefers calling the flop. But I'm happy with how I played the hand, and I'm happy that we're going to get at least one tick. I'm hoping for two. Excuse me. Excuse me. We get a red. We get a red circle. Well, sweet baby Jesus. River, he didn't want all in on the river. What are you fucking talking about? What are you actually fucking talking about? Right, okay. So, pre-flop, it actually prefers 4-bet. Okay, I can live with that. I have no problem with that. I actually think against this particular villain, clearly 4-bet because the guy's got fucking pocket fours in his range. Versus population, I prefer to switch these around a little bit. I don't think I want a 4-bet king queen versus population. Maybe I do though. Maybe we'll have a little trial with that over the next day or two, just like 4-bet in ace king. Actually roll for it and just follow the RNG. Flop check. Bet. It's wanting a bigger raise on the flop. So that's a learning. Flop check raise is what it prefers. It prefers check raising 70% of the time, just a bigger one. I can deal with that. Turn, it's wanting us to check again after check raising. Or it's wanting half pot, which is what we went with, but preferring 75% pot. So yeah, I should have gone 75. I actually went down to half, but I would have, yeah, would have got still only one tick though, because it's actually wanting more checks and I mean, to me, I'm just pure C betting that turn. When I've checked raise flop, there isn't a single turn card I am not fucking barreling on. So I'm going to check in a minute. If we do check this turn and villain bets, what's our response? And then river, just wanting 10%. Fuck off. No, stop it. Get in the bin. Leave me alone. Not doing that. This is not a thing in the micro stakes, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, that can get fucked. Not interested. Absolutely not fucking interested in that 10% shenanigans. Turn, though, that's what I wanted to look at. So on the turn, if we check and villain, what's villain's favoured bet size versus check? 50%. So villain bets 50%. What's our response with King Queen suited? King Queen of Spades is just calling more than jamming. Yeah, bye bye, red line. See you, red line. That's what's going to happen there to me. Just call. I put more than happy stack in. I'm going to check for the river when I miss, and my red line's going to plummet, and Peak Light's going to tell me I don't deserve to play the fucking game, and all that shit. But fair enough, we're doing this. I need to be like, I can't just laugh at this strategy. We check raise a flop with a flush draw. We get called, and we break. We check the turn at a very high frequency or a decent frequency. Let's go back to the turn here. We're checking over half the time, or we're following through 75%. But I'm following through 75% most of the time. So that's going to be an error. Still going to be a huge error. It's still going to be making money. So let's not beat ourselves up too much. But then when we do break, we're allowed to check call versus half pot. What if villain decided to freak out and go 75% pot? What are we doing then with our king queen suited? Fuck me, we're still only calling. We are just like gonna hemorrhage red line. Okay, that's what we're meant to do. That's what we're meant to do. No point doing this and then poo-pooing it. Although I am poo-pooing the river. The river could just get fucked. It can fuck off. I'm not interested. Couldn't give a shit. I'm always all in when I get there. And I think almost every Pokemon on the planet's going all in there and not doing a 10%er. So, um, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that telling. I'll take that red circle and I'll boot it right out into the fucking street. See that red circle? I see you. Fuck off. Get in the bin. Not interested in you. But yeah, we're going to leave it there. 50 minutes of study. Happy, happy days. Not happy with that. With the hand that I took fucking ages on. I still couldn't fucking figure it out. Which one was it? Going back. It was East 10s, wasn't it? I think it was East 10. Whichever one it was. I wasn't happy with it. Not happy with the way I analysed it. Not happy with the way I didn't come to a better outcome. I rushed it a bit because I was making a video. I didn't want to like labour it too long. And people just switch off in their fucking droves. But I'm going to go back and look at that again now, outside of the video because I didn't grasp what it was telling me, and I need to. So yeah, we're going to leave it there for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. I don't know if there'll be a video tomorrow. I think it's highly unlikely because I've actually got a fucking absolutely pointless box ticking exercise training course to do on manual handling. It's fucking nonsense. I work with a young man who's incredibly fit and healthy. There's no need for any manual handling with him, apart from the fact he sometimes has seizures. Um, but the manual handling is all to do with like moving people who have like limited movement. It's to do with like getting people in and out of chairs. It's about supporting people to walk. It's about rolling people in beds when you're dressing them and giving personal care, etc. It's fucking nonsense. It's the purest of bullshit, and I'm being forced to do it tomorrow, and I'm really unhappy about it. And there's every chance I'm just going to be a dickhead because something actually happened earlier this year. I was in the swimming pool with a young man in the wave pool actually, and while a wave was happening, he had a seizure, and he actually had like a sometimes his seizures just where he just goes absent and stays on his feet. This one actually, I was with him, and he wanted to go down, so I had to support him to go down because just the waves were making us both imbalanced, and so he ended up going down in the waves. And I was like really struggling to lift him up, keep his head above the water. Fortunately, there was other people around. They noticed very quickly. The waves were turned off within seconds, and I got a lot of assistance really quickly. So nothing bad came of it. But that's when I need manual handling training. So my question to the trainer tomorrow is going to be, okay, here's a scenario. You're in the wave pool, the waves are going on, and your opponent has a drop seizure. Tell me how I deal with that. They're going to be like, I don't fucking know. And I'm going to say, yeah, exactly. What is the fucking point of me being here? Hopefully, I'm going to be obnoxious enough where they're going to want to end the course quite quickly. And it won't last the scheduled 4 hours it's meant to last. Because there's no way there's 4 hours of manual handling training that is relevant to the person that I work with. So I think I'm going to be in maximum cunt mode because I really don't want to do it. I've tried to get out of it. And my employer said, look, she tried to get me out of it too because she agreed it's irrelevant. But the company who provides her with the funding to pay me have said if I don't do the course, my employment might be at risk. So I'll do the course, and I'm going to be a cunt. Anyway, you didn't need to hear that. Take care, everybody, and we'll probably be back with a video on Friday. Bye bye for now.